Okay, so it looks like we are live. Got a couple of minutes to go before we start. We're just firing everything up here and trying to get Marco in the room.
Okay. He keeps trying to get in. It's not working.
Okay, so people are starting to arrive. We've got a few more minutes before we start. Hello to everyone who's sitting there. It's a beautiful morning here on the sunny Gold Coast, but it's a bit chilly. Okay, that looks good. Good morning, good morning. We're starting in about 2 to 3 minutes, I think. G'day, George. Hey, Simon. Good to see you, bud. Hey, Ken. Can you hear me, Cole? In the microphone? Yeah. Hey, Simon. Is it cold up there, mate? It's bloody chilly down here on the Gold Coast. We're just trying to get Marco in. I think he's got a Chrome extension issue. And I can't hear you, Bradley.
How about now?
Yes.
All right.
Perfect.
At least one of us could get in here. So, all right. Yeah, I don't know that he's going to be able to make it, unfortunately. So, looks like it's just going to be us.
Okay, mate.
Okay, so I'm ready whenever you are, man.
Okay, I think we're good to go, mate.
Uh-oh, here comes Marco in his. Now it says Marco has joined the room, but I don't know. All right, I'm just going to keep going.
Okay, so let me tell you about Bradley Benner. Semantic Mastery was formed in 2013 as a group of like-minded SEOs and digital marketers with years of experience who wanted to share the best of real-world actionable tactics with others. Brad and I have been mates for years now. I've been following his stuff. Look, man, I've been doing SEO since pretty much 1995, and developing SEO software. But when I want to know what the intricacies are of contemporary SEO, I just call out to Bradley, and that is the main reason why he's here right now. Over to you, Bradley.
All right, so hey guys, and thank you, Peter, for having us on. Yeah, Peter and I have been kind of colleagues and friends for several years now, and just as Peter said that he follows us, I'm a huge fan of Peter's tools. Always promote them to our list, and because I use them myself, and that's part of the reason why they usually perform so well when we do promote them to our list, because I can show, like, through my own case studies and how I'm using them and all that, because I truly am a believer in Peter's tools. He didn't even have to tell me what the tool does anymore. He just says, I got a new tool, and I say, I want it. so I appreciate you having us on, man. Today, guys, what I want to talk about, unfortunately, Marco's not here, because anybody that has seen anything that we put out knows that Marco is our unapologetic spammer. And so he tends to get excited easily and throw F-bombs around and all that kind of stuff. And so it makes it more entertaining. I'm sorry if I'm not as entertaining as he is, but we got some serious business to talk about anyways today. And that's what I'm going to be pulling up here in just a moment with the presentation. And guys, this is not a hard sell. If you guys have seen anything that we've ever produced before, as far as webinars, products, services, whatever, we don't do any hard selling. We're just going to tell you, I'm going to tell you what this product is, the training, the course, the method, what it is, how it works, why it works, and then present the offer. And it's up to you guys to make the decision if it's something for you or not. I know Peter's got some cool bonuses he's going to throw in, and so am I. So again, guys, not a hard sell. Hope you stick around long enough to see the offer and see the real potential in this. For those of you that are doing any sort of local marketing, this is completely for you. If you're not doing local marketing, it might not really be something that you need to stick around for unless you're curious. So I encourage you to stick around regardless. So with that said, I'm going to try to grab the screen and go right into the slides if that's all right with you.
Sure.
Okay, you guys let me know when you can see my screen.
Yep.
Can you see my slides now?
No, I see. And yes, I can now. That's perfect.
Okay, there's probably a little bit of a lag.
Yep.
Okay. So guys, what we're going to be talking about today is Local GMB Pro. This is the newest training method that we released, I don't know, probably 6 weeks ago now, something like that. And this is how to generate leads entirely within Google without traditional SEO. And when I go through this, guys, it's really going to open your eyes as to the potential that this has and why it works so well. And you know, let me kind of state right now, I put without traditional SEO because you can absolutely get results without using any traditional SEO techniques. Having SEO knowledge is absolutely going to accelerate your results. And in other words, you'll be able to apply your SEO knowledge to the Local GMB Pro method and get even better results. But you don't even have to understand or know how to spell SEO to be able to get results with this method. And it's entirely within the Google ecosystem, which is incredible, which means it's free, guys. It's free as far as it doesn't require any money. It just requires a little bit of time and effort to make it work. And so it's very, very powerful strategy. We've seen amazing results with it, and so have many of our students. And we're going to go through, or many of our members, because a lot of our members I don't even consider as students. They're colleagues, because we end up, you know, they learn from us and then they go apply and develop more and then share it back with us. So we learn just as much from our members as they learn from us. And so again, we've got a community with this and everything, and that's what I'd like to go through with you guys today. So what we're going to cover, this will be a rather brief presentation. Again, since Marco's not here and we're not going to have the level of banter that we typically do, it's probably going to go a bit quicker. But feel free to post any questions in the chat box. And Peter, feel free to interrupt me because, again, this will go rather quickly. So if you need to interrupt me because of a question that comes through, I'm perfectly fine with that, okay?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Awesome. So, guys, what we're going to cover is why Google My Business. Many of you probably already have a pretty good idea as to why this is such an important thing, but we're going to cover that a little bit more in detail. How Local GMB Pro produces results. Some results that we've been able to achieve in the last few weeks, or last couple months, really, and in the offer and bonuses. Okay, so let's get right into it. So why GMB? Well, first of all, guys, Google loves itself. I think you all know that. I mean, shoot, you guys are all Peter Drew fans or members or users of his software and his tools, and Peter loves Google's product to beat Google with Google. Think about the G Sites builder. Think about all the YouTube stuff he's done over the years. It's just Google loves Google. You guys know that. Google loves to rank its own YouTube videos. Google loves to rank its own G Sites. Google loves to rank its own blogger sites. Google loves to rank its own Drive files. For those of you that are unaware, you can use Google Drive and all of the different file types to create, just do nasty SEO stuff because it's all Google properties. So it's Google's narcissism that forces itself to promote its own properties above others. And it makes perfect sense, guys, if you think about it, because Google wants to keep its users in the Google ecosystem. Similar to how Facebook doesn't provide as much exposure to posts with external links. Think about that, guys. Anybody, and again, Peter was one of the first was one of the people that actually, I'm not much of a Facebook marketer, guys. To be honest with you, I absolutely hate Facebook. Always have. I think it's a cesspool. However, I know it's important for, for marketing. I get that. And so I don't typically use Facebook, but I know very much, other than to interact with, members of our various groups and such. But I know that, Peter's had some products that he's developed for Facebook Live video and things like that, and showed and proved with undeniable data that Facebook promotes certain things over others, right? So for example, Facebook Live posts get a hell of a lot more exposure and reach than just a typical text or image post does, like considerable, 5 times, 6 times as much reach, right? Well, similarly, Facebook posts, and any of you guys that are doing either organic Facebook marketing or even paid PPC, paid advertising with Facebook, you know that as soon as you include an external link in either a paid ad or even an organic post, that it suddenly gets a hell of a lot less reach or exposure, right? It's because now you're taking people off of the Facebook platform. Facebook doesn't want that. So it's going to limit your exposure or reduce your reach. Okay, so that there's less likelihood of people leaving Facebook. Well, it's the same goes for Google, right? And if you think about what the Google search engine has been for all these years, guys, is it's basically been a go-between, like an in-between, a middleman between what the searcher's looking for and where they ultimately want to be. So Google inserts itself in the process of somebody trying to find the information that they're looking for, but ultimately people would leave the Google platform to get to the information that they were seeking. Well, Google's gotten to the point now where they're realizing the importance of trying to keep their users, Google users, in the Google ecosystem, right? Within Google's products. Now think about this, guys. When you go to do a Google search, now there's with all the, especially for local stuff, now there's the ads at the top, then there's the 3-pack. Now they've even got the carousel ads that are coming out for like verified service providers, anybody that's doing like contractor, working in the home services industry and stuff like that. I'm sure you've seen those start to pop up, the carousel ads or the recommended or verified service provider ads at the top. Now, then you've got 4, typically on desktop as much as 4 paid ads before the Maps 3-pack. Then there's the Maps 3-pack, then there's the organic listings underneath, and then typically maybe some additional ads below that. My point is, every one of those things that's so that Google can provide data to the searcher, which again, I know you guys are all aware of that. But in the past, a lot of the times people would click on, whatever website, the search result that most closely matches their query, and it would take them off of Google. However, because of Maps, for example, and the Google verified service providers, and in Google shopping ads, or I don't do any e-commerce stuff, but Google shopping ads, they have their own marketplaces and such. They're doing more and more to keep people in the Google environment, so that they're not actually taking. Now think about mobile devices, guys. With mobile devices now, and we're going to talk about this in just a minute, but in July of 2018, just this month, the Google mobile first indexing algorithm has rolled out. And so in other words, Google is now basing all of its desktop and mobile search results based upon what's indexed in the mobile search algorithm first, right? So you guys understand that there's a difference between mobile search and desktop and laptop search, right? There is a difference between those. A lot of the times the results are closely related, but they're not always the same. And there's a lot of reasons why there's differences between those two different results that Google will display. And again, we're going to get into that a little bit more in a following slide. But if you look at mobile device search now, for example, you'll notice like a lot of articles and such have the AMP sign or icon next to them, which means amplified mobile pages, right? That's what AMP stands for. And so again, it's because there's a ton of mobile users, and now when you click on one of those AMP pages, it's a cached page of the article. So it pulls up, but you never leave Google. So you actually never end up leaving the Google ecosystem to go to the destination website, right? It's loaded directly from Google, if that makes sense. All of these things that Google is doing is because they want to keep people on the Google platform. Why is that? Because they want to control what you're doing and what you're seeing. They want to serve more ads to you, right? They want to know more about your behavior, what you're doing, what you're visiting, what you're searching for, what you're engaging with. So they're building a profile of every user, right? And that's why that they want to keep you in the Google ecosystem, is so, or its users in the Google ecosystem, is so that it can continue to build the profile of that user even more, collect more history about that person, so that they can have more data for the advertisers to more closely match their ads with potential people that are most likely to click on it. Okay. And lastly, guys, the other part of this is that I remember hearing or watching a YouTube video of Larry Page. I mean, we're talking 10 years ago, when Google was first becoming big, right? When Google was really first becoming like the big brother, the what do they call it? The 800-pound gorilla, right? When it took over search and really became the market, the search dominant search engine. I remember hearing Larry Page on stage on a YouTube video talking about what his vision. And by the way, in case you guys don't know, Larry Page is a co-creator, co-founder of Google. I remember hearing him talk about how their motto way back when, and again, I can't remember what the year it was, but it was like 10 years ago, something like that. I remember hearing him say that their goal, Google's goal, their vision was to end search. In other words, he had a vision that at some point eventually that Google would have developed or evolved up to a point to where each individual user of Google would have personalized, individualized search results specific to them, so that would end search. In other words, when somebody goes to Google and types in a query, Google wants to be able to provide the information to satisfy that search query right then and there on its own platform. So this was something that they've had a vision of doing for many, many years. Again, at least 10 years 10 years ago that I remember hearing this. And so now they've gotten to the point where that's coming to fruition, right? That's becoming a reality. And it has a lot to do with mobile search, which is what we're going to get into on the next slide here. So how does Local GMB Pro produce results? Well, 2/3 of all search traffic now originates from mobile devices, guys. And again, as I just mentioned, and here's the actual article from Google Webmaster Central blog. This was posted in March of this year, but this was where they talk about rolling out the mobile first indexing, which actually just started in July of 2018. And I just got an email a couple days ago about that it's official. It has rolled out now, that mobile first indexing is how Google now indexes content. If you guys have been doing a bunch of SEO work, which I know you have because you're all Peter Drew's audience, I know that you probably have realized that, first of all, the Google submit URL from Search Console, that is no longer available. That just occurred within like the last week or so. You can't get to that URL submit button or page anymore. And also for the last several weeks, we've noticed, or even a couple of months now, many of you have probably noticed that indexing rates have dropped substantially. Well, a lot of that has to do with moving more towards this mobile first indexing algorithm. Okay. And so again, guys, we need to evolve with the times. And, I know a lot of us still, let me speak for myself, not for everybody else. For me, I don't do a lot of SEO work with mobile as my primary goal, because I do most of my work from my desktop, and I'm sure a lot of you guys do as well. But we really need to start shifting our thinking, like now more than ever, to always optimizing for mobile because of mobile first indexing and because of how Google has evolved so much. And as I'm about to show you, it is all about mobile now. And that's how the Local GMB Pro method is speaking directly to the mobile algorithm, which is why this works so well. Okay, so because mobile first indexing took effect in July, that's why I believe that, again, I don't work for Google, guys. Some of this is speculation on my part. It's a very educated guess as to how I think some of this works. But again, because I don't work for Google, I can't be 100% for certain. But I know that the methods that we've been using are absolutely producing results, and almost overnight, which is insane, without traditional SEO, even if the rank trackers aren't showing any improvement in rankings. And so, and we'll get into that here in a little bit more. But because of mobile search and GPS, search results are now personalized based on location, search and browsing history, and in-market behavior. So what does all of that mean? Well, as I just mentioned a moment ago, if you guys are using rank trackers, a lot of rank trackers, because of how results are now being displayed to the users, primarily based upon mobile now. If you're trying to use rank trackers to track rankings for a property that you're working on, whether it's a client site or one of your own properties, if you're trying to track local rankings from afar or from using a rank tracking device, it's going to show you inaccurate results. I know that many of them are trying to stay up. For example, I use Pro Rank Tracker for tracking YouTube videos and also for some map stuff. I also use Bright Local for a lot of my client reporting, where I track citations and I track local rankings and maps rankings and stuff like that. And a lot of them are allowing you to enter in specific locations, either by zip code or by city and state, things like that, so that they can try to emulate a search from that location. However, guys, think about this. You could have two people side by side with mobile devices that search for the exact same search query, and they're standing next to each other, so in close proximity to each other, and yet they will have two very different looking search results pages on their mobile devices. Whereas on desktops, they're going to be a lot more similar. But the two people standing side by side with the same search query are likely to see very different results, or at least somewhat different results. And it's based upon their geolocation, which in this case, this example case, they would be sitting side by side. But the search and browsing history and their in-market behavior also influences results. So even though those two people might be standing side by side with the same search query, maybe even from the same type of device, let's say both Android phones, for example, they're going to see different results because they have different search and browsing history. They have different in-market behaviors. And so Google is going to show them different results. Google is going to display results that they are most likely to interact or engage with, right? So each individual user there is going to have different, likelihoods of engaging with different content, if that makes sense. And so Google is going to display different results per user. And we see that in rank trackers now, guys. That's what I'm saying. And even now, let's take that same example now of two people standing side by side, so essentially in the same exact location, but searching the same query and getting different results. Now, what if you take those two people and you separate them by distance, by a half a mile, right? Just a half a mile. That doesn't seem like much, but with mobile search, that can create vastly different results depending on what the query is, right? But again, think about it. If you're a mile away and you do a search for restaurants near me versus there's one person in one location, another person a mile away in the middle of a city, and they search restaurants near me, it stands to reason, it's very logical that they're going to see very different results, because Google's going to display restaurants that are close to them where they're currently standing, their geolocation. But the same is true even for something, a query that might not be as hypersensitive to location as restaurants near me would be, such as like plumbers near me, or remodeling near me. By the way, in case any of you guys are doing any GMB work inside of Google My Business right now, if you notice, if there's what they call Google Insights, that's like analytics for Google My Business, and they just started rolling out within the last week or so, maybe week and a half. If you click on Insights now, you're going to start seeing the queries that have generated clicks to the maps listing. And those are about 90% of the results that you see there are from mobile devices, guys. And it's really cool because now you're going to start what's great about Insights is it's starting to reveal the actual queries that generated a click to the maps listing. So it's almost acting as if Insights is like keyword discovery, because it starts to reveal more and more keywords that the business is being exposed for from Google because of the activity in the Google My Business listings, which is great because now it'll start to reveal to you other keywords that you should be optimizing for. And I found in just the last week and a half since they rolled this out, a lot of keywords that my clients have been ranking for or getting clicks and exposure for that I wasn't even tracking. guys, which is great because now I just go in and I highlight, copy the keywords from the insights reports and then go paste them into my Bright Local reporting app for the local rank reports. And now, like every single month now that I generate a client report, they're seeing more and more top positions for keywords because I'm discovering new keywords that they're actually getting engagement from in maps from Google, that because Google's showing it to me, stuff that I wasn't even tracking. And what's really interesting about this, guys, is as a local marketer, I've been as a local SEO guy, I've been optimizing with local location modifiers appended to the keywords, as I know many of you have. For years now, I've been optimizing for plumber plus city, tree service plus city, restaurants plus city, or city plus, whatever. And that's how many of us have optimized for stuff. But what I'm finding now, again, because of mobile and because of geolocation, you can omit or drop the geolocation and start targeting broad keywords, and you will get exposure and traffic from them. And again, Google Insights absolutely shows this. In fact, I might even go into one of my the case study listing that I have for the training, guys, here towards the end of this, and show you some live examples of what I'm talking about. I didn't include any screenshots of that. I wish I would have, but I might just jump in and show that to you. So because of this, guys, mobile search and GPS search results are now personalized based upon location, search and browsing history, and in-market behavior. What's in-market behavior? Any of you guys that have done any AdWords, or what they call, now it's no longer AdWords, by the way, it's now Google Ads. So if anybody's been using Google Ads, one of the targeting options is audience targeting. And in audience targeting, there's affinity audiences, there's in-market audiences, and there's life event audiences. Well, in-market audiences are people that have been in recent history, like very recent history. I don't know what that is. I don't know if that means within the last day or the last week or the last month. I don't know. But it just means that within the very recent history, they have been actively searching for a specific type of content, which is great, because if you can find an in-market audience that is very close to whatever product or service it is that you're marketing, then Google is basically saying, here is a bucket, a segment of our users that are actively searching for that type of product or service right now. And because of that, Google, you can select that audience targeting, and now those people are much more likely to engage with your product or service as long as it fits what that particular in-market audience, because they're actively in the market for that product or service, right? And Google knows that from their search and browsing history. What have they been searching for? What have they been clicking on? What have they engaged with, right? And so in-market behavior is one of the key indicators for Google to determine what type of content to display to that user. And so in-market behavior actually is affecting GMB, Google My Business, or Maps exposure now on mobile devices. So what that means is somebody that has been searching for, let's say, roofing services, doing searches such as roof leak repair, how to fix a roof leak, or I don't know, gutter stuff, gutter cleaning and things like that, which again, typically roofers do that kind of work. Things like that, though, that's going to put them in a roofing services, which I know there's a in-market audience called roofing services, because I primarily work with contractors, guys. So I do a lot of advertising, YouTube ads, a lot of YouTube ads as well. And so in-market audiences are great for that. And so my point is, roofing services is an in-market audience. So now that user gets put into that in-market audience, that bucket of people. And so if you have a roofing company, or you're providing marketing services to a roofing company that is in that area, and you are active in Google My Business. So, and I'm going to talk here on the next slide about what activities produce results. But if you're active in that Google My Business profile, you're generating posts, you've got a well-optimized profile, you're engaged with any reviews that are coming in, things like that. Now Google knows you're a roofing company. And so that person that did a search that is in that in-market audience bucket for roofing services, if they are anywhere near your business or within your service area, if it's a service area business, and they do a search for that, Google is now going to show on their mobile device your Google My Business posts as showing up in search results, which is incredible, guys, because think about it. you're not optimizing for anything really particular. And it's crazy, but the Google My Business posts, like we have a bunch of templates in the training that I've developed. And in fact, I've developed a bunch of Google My Business post templates, content templates that have tokens in them that can just be swapped out with keywords and such. So that, because I've trained virtual assistants to do all this for me and for my business, which by the way, in the training, guys, you get access to all of our process docs for training VAs, the exact same process docs that I use to train my own VAs for my own business. You get access to all that. And my point is, we've developed content templates so that our VAs, all they have to do is go in and copy from the text file the content template, paste it into the GMB post, swap out the tokens with the keywords that we're promoting for that, and I give my VAs a list of keywords to promote. So they just go select from that list whenever they do the posting, but they swap out the tokens, put the keywords in, and they post it. Guys, these content templates are reusable templates that are like 100 to 200 words. I mean, some of them are, I'm not kidding, some of them are like 50 words. But it's not about the content, it's about the activity. And so my point is that we've got, many, I don't know, I've probably got a dozen or so content templates in there, but inside the Facebook group, we've got members that are also creating content templates for their specific verticals. For example, I've got several content templates for contractors because that's primarily what I deal with. However, there are people that have got them for insurance company, for the insurance business, the insurance industry. There's other people having for real estate industry. And so we're compiling in the Local GMB Pro Facebook group, a resource where everybody is contributing, or those that want to are contributing content templates, so that we'll have this library of templates to pull from, which is great, guys, because again, one of the major, and I'm getting a little bit off script here, but one of the major benefits of the Local GMB Pro training and the process, the method, is that this can be outsourced entirely. This is not something that you should you shouldn't be doing this kind of work, guys. You should be outselling this kind of work and generating revenue from it, not doing it. And this is a very simple process that a virtual assistant can be trained on. And we encourage you, if you end up joining the program, to hire your own virtual assistants and put them through the training course. You put them through your training. You don't have to buy it again. We're perfectly okay with you hiring a VA and putting them through the training. Train them. And again, I've produced training documents, guys, process docs, for how to train the virtual assistants to do these things. And so there's always that option, and we encourage you to do that. But there's also, we have done for you services where we've trained VAs to do this, and you can always hire us to do it. So again, I would encourage you to, if you're considering this method, don't think about you're doing this just specifically as something that you're going to do, yet another service that you're going to do yourself, because it's very hard to scale your business when you're doing all the work. And I'm sure you guys are aware of that. All right. So Google awards early adopters by exposing their brand and search more often to mobile users. And what I mean by that is, guys, when Google gives new tools. So for example, if any of you guys have been doing any local GMB stuff, if you've got local clients or your own local lead gen sites or whatever, and you have maps listings, by logging into Google My Business over the last several months, more and more features and new tools keep getting added to local GMB. And so that goes to show you how much of a push Google is pushing this new service, right? And what we have found is, as early adopters, when we get in there and start testing, as soon as a new tool is or feature is rolled out in the GMB, we go in and we start, industrial strength testing it. Like, we put it through the freaking ringer. We've got Marco and Rob. Rob's a co-creator of Local GMB Pro. He also collaborated with us. Rob Beal is his name. He also collaborated with us on RYSR, Rank Your Shit Reloaded, in case you guys weren't aware of that. But my point is, Rob and Marco, they don't do anything half-assed. When they go in to break something or to test something, their intention is to break it. And so we've gone in and tested in Google My Business with the new tools. And what we found is, the more aggressive we are with using Google's tools, the better the results we get. And so again, it's about being an early adopter. When you adopt or start utilizing the tools that Google gives you, and utilizing them heavily, right? Being aggressive with them, Google's rewarding you because you're doing exactly what they want you to do. You're giving Google all the information it wants. You're trying to help Google keep visitors or Google users on their platform. So Google is going to reward you for that. And how do they reward you? By giving the brand more exposure to mobile users, right? So I mentioned earlier that the rank trackers, I'm glad I actually pulled up I'm going to show you guys the case study that it's in the training. So I don't mind sharing that here publicly, a little bit about it. But it's a taxi cab company. I've never done SEO work for a taxi service company in my life, but I just recently got a client. It was a referral from another client actually, for a taxi service in Charlottesville, Virginia. And so it was right around the time we were developing this GMB Pro method. We were testing and all that at the time. So when the client was referred to me, I sent him a proposal, and it was for local SEO. But I basically said, look, I want to test this new method that we've been developing on your site. Or on your project for your business? Would you mind? And the guy was totally cool with it. His name's Mario. The company's name's Mario's Cab Service. Again, I'm going to show you this in just a moment. So he hired me. We went ahead and started with the GMB Pro services, the same that, and again, that's what the case study is built around inside the training. It was built around that. So it's from the ground up, that project. It was a new business. Well, it was a new listing. Let's put it that way. And you guys are going to see that, basically we've taken, with no traditional SEO, no website. There's no WordPress website. I started to build a WordPress website, but then I reverted to just using the GMB website, which is a free website that Google gives you inside of Google My Business. You'll see that, I've stayed entirely within Google's ecosystem, and I've been able to achieve massive results. And yet what's interesting is, and I'm going to show this to you, is the rank trackers don't necessarily show the kind of results that the activity level shows. In other words, the rank trackers might show only nominal improvement in rankings for specific keywords, yet analytics, and more importantly, Google Insights, or GMB Insights, which is basically analytics for Google My Business, shows significant increases in traffic in both website or exposure in maps, clicks in maps. Also, it shows phone calls. It shows clicks for driving directions. It shows if they're using the messaging app. It shows how many or text messages have been sent. It shows all of this this level of activity. And if the rank trackers aren't showing an improvement in ranking, how do you explain that? Right? How do you explain that? And it has to be because, once again, the rank trackers are becoming more and more inaccurate, guys, because you might set the location for a rank tracker, but that's a static IP with or a static location that it's searching from. It's a spoofed location, and it has no browsing history, no in-market audience profile. Does that make sense? So it's obviously not going to be seeing the same thing that somebody else would have, right? And so again, it's really interesting to see how all this is coming together, guys. And what's great about it is it's absolutely quantifiable. Your results are absolutely quantifiable based upon Google Insights. And I'm going to show you some screenshots here in a moment about some insights reporting that I want to explain. I should have put a note in the presentation about this, but the insights reports are showing primarily mobile activity because this is a mobile type of SEO. Essentially, this is producing results in the mobile environment. So the vast majority of the engagements that it shows, the actions and engagements that it shows in GMB Insights, are going to be from mobile devices. So why I'm telling you that is because when you see the insights reports and the significant increase in activity and engagement that you will get from using the GMB Pro method, it's only a portion of the overall improvement, because there's still desktop and laptop searches and engagement that happen that aren't being reported by Google Insights, because Google Insights or GMB Insights are showing mostly mobile actions. Does that make sense? So my point is, when you look at the quantifiable results, you're still only looking at a portion of the overall campaign improvements that that you've made, because it's not really revealing desktop and laptop results, if that makes sense. So very, very, very cool stuff. I mean, it's super exciting. And I wish Marco was here because he'd be all excited right now too. But components that force exposure. These are some of the components that force exposure in Google My Business to mobile users. Profile completion. You guys are probably all aware of that, but you can now remember there was a period of time where in Maps or in Google My Business maps and or GMB, there was no area to put a business description. You guys remember there used to be Google Plus Local. And then they started, by the way, Google Plus is absolutely being pulled away from all of Google's products. I don't know how much longer it's going to last, but Google has been slowly disintegrating, unintegrating Google Plus from all of its products, and it's becoming more and more so. But there used to be a time where you had Google Plus Local, and you could go in and add on the local page. You could add business descriptions and all that kind of stuff. And then they took that away, and then it was just maps listings, and you didn't have that. Well, now business descriptions are back. So business descriptions are a great way to optimize, to add in some location keywords, to add in your product and or service keywords. It's fantastic, right? There's products and services now, which again, I'll get to that in a minute. Profile completion is incredibly important. So hours of operation, your correct business categories, which you can have multiple categories, guys. You want to select your primary category as the one that's most closely related, but you want to also try to find as many categories that your business falls within and add those as well. Right? You can add in the text messaging function, SMS function, right? You can add in appointment URLs, which there's a really ninja thing that we teach in GMB Pro, the Local GMB Pro course, about how to use both the website, the GMB website, plus the appointment URL that you can, field that you can add in the info section of GMB, how you can use both the GMB website and a money site. If they have a traditional self-hosted website, you can use both of those in a very ninja way. There's products and services. You can add products and services now, right? So it's pricing, guys. It's a great way to add additional product and or service relevancy to your GMB listing, right? Go in and optimize for each individual product or service that you have, because now that's, again, anybody searching for specifics, now your business is going to show. Because think about this, guys, what I mentioned earlier about early adopters, right? Think about how many local businesses out there don't have any clue about all of these available features. Think about how many SEOs out there still don't have a clue about this. So if you go in and start optimizing your profile and utilizing all of the available GMB tools, profile complete 100%, you increase your activity, you use all of the tools that are available to you. Google, it gives so much more opportunity for your business to be exposed for the same searches that other people's aren't.
Can I just add in on that point? Mm-hmm. So for the early adopters to get in now, what they're also doing with their Google account they're using is establishing authority at this point in time. And by following your training, these accounts are going to get good results, which shows Google that these are basically gaining trust over time.
Absolutely.
So people who come into Google My Business in 2 months, 6 months, 12 months, they're going to be competing with the established trust and credibility that your account has built up at this point in time. Is that right?
That's right. In politics, you'd call that the incumbents.
Whoa, nice.
Yeah, you're the incumbent GMB users, right?
Ah, very nice, very nice. Okay, sorry.
Yeah, that's a great point, Peter. So again, guys, increased activity, GMB posts, reviews, and responding to reviews, guys. That's super important, by the way. Guys, I don't know if you're aware of this. Probably many of you are, but reviews matter. Hashtag reviews matter, right? Like honestly, reviews are really becoming a necessary part of SEO, and especially GMB, because Google is looking for businesses that are engaged with their audience, right? And so soliciting for reviews is absolutely important. It's something, if you're providing local marketing services to clients or you're doing lead gen, you should be actively engaged in trying to generate additional reviews for the companies or for the businesses that you're promoting. But besides generating reviews, going in and responding to reviews is incredibly important, because once again, it shows that you're engaging with your patrons or your customers, which Google likes to see. It's additional activity in GMB, which Google loves to see. And it gives you the ability in your response to reviews or the client's response to reviews, whatever, to inject additional keywords and or locations, right? So you can actually use reviews as an excuse to inject additional relevancy points, data points into your GMB listing. Okay. So whether it's a good review or a bad review, any review that you get whatsoever, you should use that as an opportunity to jump in and add additional relevancy to your profile. Right. So utilization of all the available tools, GMB website, the scheduling app, the messaging, products and services, etc. Right. Everything you can fill out and do is going to make a huge difference. So this is the one, again, if we have time, which we might, I'll probably jump in and try to show you guys. I might have to pause the screen for a minute, but to go into my GMB dashboard and that kind of stuff. But I might show you some live examples of this. But this is from the Mario's Cab Service, that case study that I've been working on for this guy for, I don't know, about 8 weeks, about 2 months, maybe 10 weeks now. Honestly, it's been it's only been a couple of months. But this screenshot was just taken today. This was taken about literally 15 minutes before the webinar tonight. And so you can see that this guy right here, Mario's Cab Service, and again, this is taxi service, started fresh. He was an established business, but what happened was he changed locations. He moved from one side of town to the other. So it literally changed zip codes and everything. But also one of his ex-taxi drivers, ex-employees, had actually claimed and verified the GMB profile when he was an employee for Mario's Cab Service. And once he left, he refused access to the GMB profile. So I had to, when I took this client on, the first thing I had to do was go set up the new GMB listing under the new address. And then I had to contact Google My Business support and request and mark the other place, the other location for this business permanently closed. And then I had to go through, jump through several hoops to verify that the business had indeed moved and all that. Regardless, point is, it wasn't as easy as starting fresh. I found it easier to start with a new listing, a brand new listing, than to try to repair a messed up listing or move or a listing that's changed locations or changed significantly. Like one of the name, address, or phone number data points have changed significantly. I find that harder to get results than just starting new or starting with something that's already been established. And I'm sure many of you can relate to that. So when I say started fresh, it wasn't really fresh. We had to actually undo some of the existing stuff that was out there. And there's still some inconsistent NAP data or citation data out there on the web right now for this guy. But it doesn't matter because he's still getting results, as it shows over here. So this is no traditional website. In fact, in the case study, I bought a domain, marioscabservice.com. If you try to visit that right now, you'll see it forwards directly to the GMB website, because I actually put WordPress on the domain. But then I said, you know what? I want to do this case study entirely in the GMB ecosystem. So I reverted the maps listing, the GMB listing, to the main website as the business, the GMB website. Which, if you guys are aware of what the GMB websites look like, it's a subdomain .business.website. So in this case, it's marioscabservice.business.site. That's the GMB website. Okay, so I did that. No traditional SEO. Since I started this project, I've done 2 press releases, and those are the only things that I would consider traditional SEO that I've done to this listing. Is I've published 2 press releases. Everything else has been entirely done within the Google My Business dashboard, and we've done 4 posts per week. And this is, like I said, what you can see right here, guys. In the last month from today, there's been 853 listings on search. So he's been exposed. Mario's Cab Service has been exposed 853 times in search. That's universal search. That includes maps and organic. Okay. It's been listed 131 times in maps in the past month. Been exposed in maps 131 times. Guys, remember, this is mobile data, right? So this isn't including desktop and stuff. Take a look. Visits to the website, there was 24, 43 calls. No requested directions. Is because it's a service area business. So typically people don't request directions to service area businesses, and no text messages. But take a look at that, guys. That's 67 actions out of 131 listings on maps. That's over a 50% engagement rate. Think about that, guys. Isn't that huge? So 50% or a little bit over 50% of the time that this company was exposed in maps, they got an engagement, a direct action. Either a call or a click to visit the website. So think about how important that is, guys, to be able to show this data to a client, a potential client, or whatever, and say, look, this is an over 50% engagement rate for mobile device users when you've been exposed on maps. So pretty powerful stuff. All right, let me keep going. Unfortunately, Marco's not here to talk about all these screenshots because these are from his case studies. So I can't really give you guys much insight on these except for take a look at some of these numbers, right? This is crazy. And these are all relatively older from when we first launched Local GMB Pro. These actually came from that presentation we did when we first launched it. So I know Marco and Rob have a lot more data now to show, but I just wanted to pull some of these to show you. And again, I can't really speak on these because these are Marco's businesses that he's optimizing or clients that he's working on. And some of these are just case studies, but you can see, like, look at the amount of engagement that some of these are getting, guys. And these are mobile screenshots direct from his mobile phone. It's insane, right? The fact that you can see, like, for example, 108 actions for this particular business, 64 visits to the website, 7 request directions, and 37 calls. That's why I said earlier, guys, that you can absolutely quantify your results to your clients with these, or for your own properties for that matter, right? It's because all you got to do is go take a look and you can see the engagement, and you can see month over month an increase in both exposure and organic search, exposure in maps, and in actions and engagements, right? So super powerful. All right, we're going to keep moving. Here's some more results. This is actually a screenshot from, I guess that's from the home screen of GMB. But if you have analytics attached, you'll see that it will also pull in analytics data as well. Oh, and this one actually has DC Plumber LLC on it. So this was actually one of Rob's case studies that he was working on. But this is another one where, like, unfortunately, that was supposed to be blurred out. But this was one that, like, a very, 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 very highly sought after search term, a very broad term for that matter. And Rob was able to basically just take over maps using nothing but GMB stuff. And he did some press release stuff too. Again, not again. I use a lot of press releases for SEO now, guys. It's one of my favorite external or, like link building methods and such. I love using press releases. It works really well for helping maps rank or rank in the maps 3-pack. We have a separate course for that specifically, but that's for another time. But my point is, that's for, like, more traditional SEO, like trying to force something into the maps 3-pack. But what I'm trying to share with you guys today is that that's unnecessary. Like, I still combine the PR method with the Local GMB Pro method, because a lot of the times, first of all, I'm still from the old school when it comes to SEO. I still like to see results and rank trackers, even though I can see results and insights, and the clients are happy because they're getting more calls, they're getting more clicks, all of that. If I'm not seeing that result in the rank tracker, it kind of gets to me. I'm sure you guys feel the same. And so I still do a lot of press release stuff so that I can force into the 3-pack as well. So that way I'm getting it from both angles. I've got the rank trackers that show results, and I've got the insights that show results. Okay. But it's not necessary is my point. You don't need to worry about traditional SEO. And it's funny because a lot of our members have come in and they'll say, I've been doing this, and this, but I'm not seeing an improvement in my rankings. And we've had to re-educate some of our members over and over again about stop looking at the rankings, look at insights, ask your client, are they getting more calls? Are they getting more customers? And invariably they'll all say yes. Oh yeah, that's really the case. Well, then stop worrying about rank trackers. We've told you why the rank trackers aren't as accurate as they used to be, right? And so anyways, again, my point is, guys, you don't need to worry about a lot of traditional metrics. It's incredible. So with that said, guys, let's get into the offer. I'd like to try to wrap this up in about 10 minutes if possible. I'll stick around for questions, though. I'm happy to stick around, guys. I want to wrap the presentation up in a few minutes. Like I said, no hard pitch, guys. This is it. Local GMB Pro offer. There's the link right there, semanticmastery.com/Peter. Guys, it's $1,000. I'm going to tell you right now, it's a fantastic product. We're going to throw in some bonuses. I know Peter's got some bonuses, so I'm going to let him mention those in just a moment. But what I want, and again, in fact, let me just jump over here for a minute. This is the sales page. This is where you're going to go. If you click on that link, it's going to take you to here. And the reason why I just pulled up the sales page is because instead of me pulling in a bunch of images with testimonials from our members that are having huge success with this already, I just go to the sales page. All of them are there. Like, not all of them, but from when we built the sales page, we've got a lot of testimonials on here from members. We've got many more since then too, by the way, but you can just scroll through here and read some of them. These are some of the members that you'll see inside the Facebook group if you guys come in, decide to join. But you can see, I mean, it's crazy how people are getting results almost overnight with this stuff with no traditional SEO work needed. It's insane. And and here are some of the things that excuse me, let me get down to where I was trying to find right here. So these are some of the things that you get inside of Local GMB Pro. Lead gen, the easy way. This is over-the-shoulder video tutorials. If you guys have seen any of our training in the past, you know I'm very articulate and trying to present the material in a very step-by-step fashion. So you get that. You get the simple techniques, which, again, these really are simple techniques, guys. Nothing about what we're doing inside of Local GMB Pro is difficult. It can be absolutely 100% and should be outsourced. Okay? This is not something that you guys should be doing yourself. You guys should be out there prospecting and selling. That's what you should be doing, and managing the workload, managing the clients, right? But you should be directing this or delegating this work to others so that you can just make money. Okay? Local leads for agencies, clients, local marketers, and even affiliate marketers. It's not something I've applied this method to because I pretty much primarily do local, but we do have some people in the group that are also using it for affiliate. There's also Marco, as Marco likes to say, when I say local, I'm talking mainly about, you know, like local businesses, like a small service area and such. But Marco always says location, or what is local, is relative to its observer. So in other words, local to me might just be a city or a town or even a county. But local to somebody else might be a state or even a country or a region or maybe an entire country. And apparently, again, I don't have any experience with this. If Marco were here, he could talk about it. But these methods do work on a larger scale. It's not just a small local service area. It can work on it's dependent upon what your local is. How do you define local? So again, I can't speak on that because I don't have an experience with that, but apparently some other people are. You don't need a top level TLD, top level domain website. You don't need hosting to get results. You can do everything inside the local GMB, the GMB dashboard. Okay. Lead generation. Guys, I truly believe this is the future of lead generation within Google. I truly believe it, okay? These can be used with brand new GMBs or even established and existing GMBs. You're going to learn how to set up the GMB listing, how to optimize it, how to complete all of the different components within the listing itself, how to increase activity, how to properly verify a GMB listing, how you should be setting up your GMB options for maximum impact, maximum exposure, and then taking the optimized GMB listing and getting more leads. And again, don't let me mislead you into thinking that you can't also do SEO stuff. You absolutely can, and we cover some traditional SEO stuff that will improve your results or increase your results. But I just want people to understand you don't have to be an SEO to do this, is my point. Okay. And also, you can take a look at some of these frequently asked questions like, can I have a VA learn and do it for me? Yes, we encourage that, guys. We absolutely encourage that. Anybody that follows any of us, guys, we tell you all the time, stop doing the damn work yourself. Stop it. Go out and make more money. That's what you should be doing. You don't let a dollar do a dime's work. You know what I mean? You should be doing $200 an hour work, not $5 an hour work, right? So that's the kind of stuff that we say, absolutely, we encourage you to buy the course, go through it yourself so you understand it, then hire a VA and put them through the course, like through the course that you purchased. You don't need to buy it again. How much money can I make with this course? Well, that's up to you. How much do you want to hustle? What else do I need to make this work? Nothing. You can make everything work within Google My Business dashboard without any external sources or processes or systems or tools at all. I know Peter's got some amazing tools that are going to help this a lot. You know, with the G Sites builder that he has and his Trust Hijacker and all the stuff that he's got, guys, his blogger, blogger creator or mass blogger or whatever the title of it is, all those tools that he's got are just going to super increase the potential that you have. But you don't need them, but I would absolutely use them because you have the ability to. All right. And can Local GMB Pro save you money? Yeah, it can, because guys, again, this is something that can be done really for no money other than what you're going to pay a VA to do, because again, you shouldn't be doing this yourself. Right. And you can charge a premium for this, guys. Just so you know, let me jump back over to slides for a minute because I'm about wrapped up with the presentation. But when I first rolled this out to my clients after testing it a bit on my own and seeing results, I applied this method to some of my lead gen sites. I still operate a fairly good sized lead gen business, primarily in the tree service space. So I was able to test this on several of my own properties before offering this to some of my clients. However, one of the things I did at the time, we now have our own. You can see at the bottom here, it says available tools and services. We have a GMB auto poster. We partnered with a developer who created a GMB auto poster, which allows scheduling. It's got a ton of great, really cool features. It's not included with the course, guys, because it's a subscription You have to buy it on a subscription, and also, like I said, there's a developer. But you can have access to the GMB poster. You can subscribe to it as well. But what's cool about it is it allows you to schedule a post, allows you to manage multiple profiles. It allows you to import using RSS feeds. So you can literally import content through RSS feeds. So like if you have a money site blog, which if you're, according to Semantic Mastery, everybody should be using syndication networks, right? Syndicating blog content. Well, you can syndicate an auto post to GMB with an RSS feed through the GMB auto poster, which is it's incredible. Not only that, but the GMB auto poster will turn your GMB posts into an RSS feed so that you can syndicate those, right, to all of your syndication networks or your AI profiles from Peter, right? Those are syndication networks, guys. They're just Peter's iterations of them, right? You can use those GMB RSS feeds from the auto poster to be able to supercharge your posts, right? So anyways, you'll get access to the training, the case studies, the webinars, which are ongoing, guys. This is a one-time fee. There is no residual or monthly cost to this. We debated whether we were going to do that or not. We probably should have, but we didn't. We wanted to keep the access available to everybody. Marco and Rob are doing the update webinars. I'm still adding to the case study. I haven't added to it in about 2 weeks because I'm working on the prospecting and sales side right now. I'm really developing that out, including a specific prospecting and sales method for the GMB Pro services or the GMB Pro method. Right. So I'm going to be including that in the training when that's fully developed. It's not at the moment. I'm still testing, guys, and I will not provide you guys with training that hasn't been proven and tested first, tested and proven, excuse me. So again, that's coming, but you do have the update webinars from Marco and then the Facebook group, which is highly active. And then from the Semantic Mastery bonus, this is something that we're going to throw in. By the way, if you look at the sales page, I believe that is the order bump. Forgive me, let me click on this button real quick because I want to instruct you guys to not do this if you buy it. Yeah, okay, so there's an order bump right here, guys, it says, yes, add video lead gen system, OB, which stands for order bump. Do not click that. It's only $50 here. We do sell it for $200 publicly, but it's $50 here if you buy it as an upgrade or whatever, but I'm telling you not to buy it because we're giving it to you as a bonus. If you buy it today or when you watch the replay, whatever, if you buy Local GMB Pro through Peter's link, just contact us at support@semanticmastery.com, and we're going to give you access to the video lead gen system, which is the system that I used. It's using video emails. I teach you exactly how I've done it. That's how I literally started my agency in 2012. And I still use video emails to this day, 6 years later, and it works like crazy. Now, that said, video lead gen system is only part of the bonus because I'm fully developing additional prospecting and sales methods specifically for just GMB services that will be added to the training. It's just not done yet. So that's part of the bonus too, is you guys were going to be getting the additional prospecting and sales training. Again, the exact same methods I use to grow my own agency. Okay. And then again, available tools and services. We have the GMB auto poster. So I would tell you to check that out. That's a separate subscription. Apologize for that, but it is what it is. Also, we're going to have a verified GMB profile service available where you can literally you can buy verified Google My Business profiles in any city that you want, right? I think there are some limitations or maybe a price increase if the city is too small. Believe it or not, it's harder to verify in a smaller city than it is a bigger city. But we have the ability to basically verify GMB profiles now. Like we can set it, you just tell us the city and what you want it what you want it named after, and we can create and verify the profile for you. That's something that we're going to be providing as a service. And we're also just about ready to launch the done for you local GMB Pro services through our marketplace. Again, that's not available just yet, but it will be within the next couple of weeks. And as we mentioned on this webinar several times already, guys, we encourage you to pick up the training so that you can go through it, you can understand it, and make you better at selling it. But then you can put your own VAs through it, or you can hire us to do the done for you services. Again, this is not something that I encourage any of you to be doing on your own other than just to learn it. Okay, so with that said, I think we're about wrapped up with the presentation.
Cool, mate.
So, go ahead. I'm sorry.
First of all, Bradley, I was meaning to cut in a few times, but I was just sitting back fangirling on all this information that you were distributing. I've really enjoyed everything you've been talking about today, mate. It's been awesome.
Well, thank you. Thank you. And I wanted to show this to you guys real quick too, just to so you can see. This is one of the things. This is Mario's cab services. This is what I was talking about. And you guys can see, like, I just showed you the screenshot earlier, guys, from just these two, because these are the two that I look at the most, which are where where customers view your business on Google. It shows organic and in maps exposure. And then it also shows the customer actions down here, which is really cool. And guys, you can change from here. Like, we can go back to the quarter and you can see the growth going back from when I started. You can see the steady increase, right? Same thing here. And again, what's funny about this, guys, is this cab service listing has actually responded less to GMB Pro method than many of the various contractor stuff that I've done. For example, I have a lead gen tree service lead gen site in Charlottesville, the same city that this company's in, this taxi service, and it got pigeon filtered. If any of you guys do local stuff, you know what a pigeon filter is. Well, that listing got pigeon filtered, and I've tried. I've kind of half-assed tried over the last year or so to get it to recover it. It just, because I haven't put a lot of work into it, because I've got a ton of other lead gen properties that make me money. So it's not something that I put a lot of work into, but I've done a few things to try to get the pigeon filter lifted. It wasn't able to ever successfully get it fully lifted. I got some keywords to start coming back, but not all of them. However, I decided to test GMB Pro methods to this thing. And I'm not kidding you guys, this is no lie. I had one of my VAs start posting to it, and within 3 days, we started getting leads back from that business, which has been pigeon filtered. So it just goes to show you that, like, Google is even taking stuff that has a penalty levied against it and exposing it in maps because it's because of the activity in GMB. So just wanted to point that out. But these are some things. This is what I was mentioning earlier, guys, about the queries. If you take a look at this, this goes to show you, like, I wasn't really optimizing for these. Don't get me wrong. Near me keywords, guys, are absolutely critical for mobile device searches now. Like, if you're not optimizing for near me searches, you're out of your mind. You're missing out on so much traffic for mobile devices. And so what's interesting is I have near me content templates in the GMB Pro or content template section of the training, because I knew to start optimizing for that. But what I didn't realize was, look how many near me queries come up here, guys. Like, he got 26 clicks or engagements from cab companies near me. Then taxi near me, another 16. Then cabs near me, another 14. You guys see this? There's 70 terms here, right? So cab near me, 12. 24-hour taxi near me, 11. So you guys can see that, like, all these near me keywords that this is just for 1 month. And so this is what I was talking about, the keyword discovery. Look at how broad some of these terms are, guys. I got 20, this business got 22 clicks for the broad term taxi. How hard is it to rank for a single word keyword like that? But that's the thing. I'm not ranking for this, but I'm getting exposure and I'm getting engagement. Does that make sense? So let me show you one more thing, and then we can get into whatever questions are available. I'm looking for, where the hell is the Bright Local report? I don't see it. Let me pause the screen for a minute. Let me see. All right. Sorry, guys. I just want to make sure I'm not revealing stuff I shouldn't be showing. So let me take a look at this real quick. Here it is. All right. Let me grab the screen again. Okay. You guys let me know when you can see my screen. You guys see it?
Yeah, it's coming up now. There it is.
Okay. So this is what, let me zoom in on this a little bit. All right. So this is what I was talking about, guys. You can see, I guess it was March when I first started. So these listings here were from before I had started any work on this. So this was my initial search or, scan of his business this is Bright Local reporting, guys. I love Bright Local. So that was before I did anything, before we set anything up. So this was, again, I told you guys this was an existing business that had a verified GMB, but it was in a different location and he lost access to it because his employee quit that had verified it, all that kind of stuff. So you can see it was several weeks later that I started, first started setting up. And you can see I've kind of SERP watched this a bit, guys, which if you guys know what SERP watch means, it means I've been running this report often. I typically don't do that, but I've been wanting to see what kind of results the GMB Pro methods have had. You can see the steady increase in green there, guys. But remember this, as I've tried to, jam down your throat through this entire presentation, it's not about rankings. It doesn't matter. because what I'm trying to show you here is, although I have seen some significant, like 24-hour cab, 24-hour taxi service, excuse me, you can see number one in maps, in organic and in mobile and in maps, right? So these are very short tail keywords, guys, that typically under normal SEO, I would never consider. Well, I don't say never consider. I typically wouldn't try to rank for keywords without local modifiers because it's always been a bitch to do. But what I found now with the Local GMB Pro method is that we're getting exposure and clicks and actual rankings now for even these real short tail terms, these broad terms with no location modifiers. And it's because Google's recognizing that the business is through the activity and the optimized profile, what it's there for. So you guys can see, like, best taxi service, one, best taxi service near me, A position, taxi service Earlysville, 24-hour taxis. You guys can see, even though I was talking about not much as far as rankings, I'm still getting really good rankings. And for some of the really short, broad terms, here's the thing, guys, think about it. When people do searches on mobile, do they typically include a local modifier? No. We've been conditioned to include local modifiers on desktop and laptop searches. But what happens on a mobile device when you start searching Google? Think about it, guys. You already know the answer. As soon as you start typing into Google on a mobile device, half the screen gets taken up by the keyboard and the other half the screen gets taken up by autosuggest, right? And so again, it's all about, like, people, and when autosuggest, people will just tap on whatever is the closest to what their query is instead of typing out the rest of their query with that stupid little touch keypad on their phone. They just select whatever's in autosuggest. And so there's actually ways to manipulate autosuggest that's covered in some detail inside the course as well. But you can see that these real short tail terms now, that's, guys, we're getting exposure and mobile traffic for these terms without any local modifiers. And again, that's coming from mobile. So that's amazing, right? So, all right, guys, that's it for the presentation. I'm going to shut up now. I'll answer any questions you have. Do we have any questions?
Well, first of all, I'd just like to say that last bit about not using local modifiers and getting ranked for that is just amazing. I haven't seen that before, ever. I've been doing this shit for a long time and I've never seen that. That's amazing. Joe says, how can we get your company to do the GMB DFY?
We're gonna be launching that. Again, I wish Marco was here, but probably within the next week or two. We've got a couple of virtual assistants in training right now for that, and we've got our new marketplace up for that. It's called mgyb.co, which stands for Make Google Your Bitch.co. That's our new marketplace, and so we're going to be selling the done for you local services there, local GMB Pro services there. It's not available yet, but it's going to come in the next week or two. What I wanted to mention earlier was there's going to be different tiers for that, guys. More equals better as far as activity in GMB. So what I mean by that is, the more posts that you can do, the more activity you can do, the better results you're going to get. So, for example, Mario's cab service there, guys, because I'm doing that basically as a case study, and I'm not making any money on that project because I got permission to use it as a case study. I'm not charging the guy very much money. So I'm basically just paying my outsourcer. But that is done. What you're seeing with the results for Mario's cab service has been done with 4 posts per week. So that essentially turns out to be 20 posts per month. Right. So because I do 4 to 5 posts per week, it varies, but it's 4 to 5 posts per week. So at no more than 20 posts per month. And I pay a VA, guys, I'll tell you, be 100% transparent. I pay a VA $5 per post. I charge the client $25 per post. So I make, besides the small bit of overhead that I have for the services that the VA uses, I'm making essentially about a 400% profit off of every post that gets posted. And it's outsourced. I don't have to do the work. So
absolutely. And Jason says, how did you get the queries info page in the GMB dashboard under the Insights tab?
Yeah, Jason, if you're not seeing that yet, it will be coming for your business. It might be, I've seen it, some of the businesses that I manage, I don't see that, but most of them, it's available now. So it's being rolled out. I don't know if it's by industry or by location or what, but that's rolling out. So just be patient. You'll see the Keyword Insights report start popping anytime now.
And Simon says, can this be used for a city the size of Brisbane, which is about 1.5, about 1 million, without going via suburbs?
Yeah, well, I can
think
tell you, Marco has one of the case studies that he started developing this method for was for an attorney in, I think, as a personal injury attorney in New York City. New York
Whoa.
City. And come on, guys, he was able to, literally get this client 200 and some odd calls per month, like month over month. Like it's like I don't know, he's getting like a $10,000 a month client. I'm not kidding. I wish he was on the webinar because he could talk about it. But again, the rank trackers aren't showing results, but this client is getting hammered with personal injury calls, guys. And you know that like personal injury cost per click is like $200 to $300 per click if you're buying clicks from AdWords. That's per click. That's not per lead. It's per click. And he's getting 200 calls per month at least going to this personal injury attorney from the GMB Pro method in New York City. So to answer your question, yeah, it will work. It will absolutely work. In fact, Marco teaches how to what he calls expand the centroid from a local GMB listing, and that all has to do with how you geotag images and with GMB posts. I can't reveal too much here, guys, but one of the best things to do is to get the clients to produce photos for you, especially taken from mobile devices, because when their photos are taken from mobile devices, it includes the GPS data, as long as GPS is turned on. So that's called like the EXIF data. So geotags or geolocation data, all that stuff gets added to the image when it gets uploaded to GMB. So what's interesting is, and here's a little tip, hopefully Marco's not gonna be mad about this, but what he did was, because he's obviously not in New York City, Marco hired a courier, a bike messenger, and hired them to take pictures from their mobile device all around the city and upload to this personal injury attorney's GMB. And so what that did was that started getting exposure in all these areas around the city and generating tons of calls. It's insane.
Oh, I love that idea. That's genius. Damn, I was going to say, what this is reminding me of, what I've learned in this webinar is that this is kind of the next iteration of Google. When Google first started, the whole thing about ranking in Google was based on trust. And their idea of trust was links from trusted sites. And that is so infantile compared to what's happening now with all the data sets that Google has available compared to what it was only 5 years ago. It's amazing. And what I'm really getting from what you've been talking about today is getting in first and establishing that credibility with your Google account. Because with all Google accounts, no matter what you do, the age of the Google account gives so much. Tells Google, if you've been around for a long time and you've got no penalties against your account and your account's connected to other Google accounts, it tells them you're a real person. And if you're putting quality content out of it, it establishes trust. And the higher trust you have, if you're competing with someone who comes into it 12 months after you, it's going to be very difficult for them to catch up to that, to get the same level of trust and credibility that your account has established. That's like, we've been doing that for years with AI profiles, creating an environment built on trust. And that's why all those accounts are still running today.
Yep. It's called entity validation.
Entity validation. I like that.
Entity validation. That's exactly right. That's what syndication networks work so well. AI profiles, again, your iteration of syndication networks, same thing. Guys, that it works so well because that helps to establish the entity, helps to verify to Google that it's a real entity. Like we think about traditional SEO, we've always concerned ourselves as SEOs with hiding our footprints. Well, this is syndication networks were the exact opposite. That's where we're claiming our footprint. We're literally sticking a stake in the ground, a flag in the ground, and saying, hey, Google, come look at me. I'm on this platform and this platform and this platform, and I'm all the same person or all the same brand. So we were claiming our profiles, and that was counterintuitive to what traditional SEO was, and it's been working like crazy for 5 or 6 years now. And so again, what you just mentioned, Peter, is absolutely correct in that you're validating the entity, and by getting in and being active in GMB, Google's now starting to build a profile on that business. And so now it knows what the business is all about, especially if you're posting regularly and you start expanding the centroid by adding geolocation photos and things like that, especially service area business and stuff. Google's going to start saying, oh, well, I didn't realize they also provided services over here in this location. Well, let me start giving them exposure in this location too, which you would have never gotten before with traditional SEO. Does that make sense?
Yeah, and like if you've got two competing Google accounts for cab companies, one's been established for 12 months and has and they know everything about. They know how many calls, how many complaints, and then a new one comes along. Who is Google going to serve up first? The one who they know who they can prove is going to give their end user a better experience, which is what they want to do.
That's right.
So the new one is going to have to do a lot of work to catch up to people who start now and get those accounts credible now while it's still really new.
Yeah, and then like, as we mentioned many times today, guys, it's hard to spoof mobile data, right? We can spoof desktop and laptop data all day long, but it's hard to spoof mobile data. And so like this brings me back to, one of the things we used to do as SEOs, even like building syndication networks or Web 2.0 profiles and such, is we would go in. I taught this in part of our Syndication Academy training. So we would go into Firefox, start with a fresh, clean environment, clear cache and cookies, run CCleaner, do all these things. And then we would log into a new profile or set up a new profile with a absolutely virgin history, right? And then we would go to set up another account, right, to create another profile, another persona, and we would clear all that shit out and start all over again. Well, then when we go back to log into that first account again, we'd have to clear everything out and log back in with a fresh browsing environment, which is so unnatural now. Nobody does that. Nobody clears their phone of all cache and cookies and logs out of all accounts before logging back in before every browsing session. So when we do that, we send flags to Google now as to, hey, this is not a real profile, right? That's why there's tools out there like Browsio or Ghost Browser and things like that that are absolutely critical if you're doing SEO work, in my opinion, nowadays. And so that's why like this GMB Pro service works so well, because it's basically mobile device driven and it's hard to spoof mobile data. You know what I mean? So it's validated data to Google. So
and also Simon says again, is the PI lawyer case study in the program?
No, because that's an actual client. So is Mario's cab service, but I got his permission for that. The case study, no, but there's not a case study about it, but Marco does share data and insights about like what he's doing. He just doesn't share the exact client property and that such. But again, Marco's real open with his data as well. So just feel free to ask.
And Stephen says, can you offer a to-pay?
That's a really good question. Stephen, contact us at support@semanticmastery.com. Please make sure that you mention you were on the Peter Drew webinar, and we'll try to work something out for you. We don't typically, I'm not going to say we're going to do it for you. Just contact us at support, and we'll try to work something out with you. Okay.
Now, I would like to talk about my bonus for people who buy this.
I forgot.
Product through my link, guys. Well, where do I start? So it's a brand new software that I only received. It's Wednesday today. I only received it Monday morning myself from Max, and I can't tell you too much about it. But first of all, if you buy this product right now via this link, you will get a lifetime access to this new software. And all I can say is if you're into YouTube and you're into live streaming and as many hours of views as you like distributed across a network, you will really want to get into this bonus that I'm giving you. That's all I can say for now. But it's a network YouTube streaming solution. I suppose awesome. That says what it is. But it works really, really good. Just
guys, very much like GMB results are driven by engagement right now. YouTube is very much the same. YouTube, I've seen YouTube videos rank with basically no traditional SEO backlinks or anything at all, but it's purely from engagement alone. And so whatever Peter's got cooking up right now, trust me, you're going to want in on that, because engagement is one of the #1 driving factors for rank positioning now, because it's so hard to spoof. That's exactly why Google's getting away from backlinks and such to more about engagement signals, because engagement signals, again, because of mobile devices, guys, is so hard to spoof, and mobile data is just so available now, you know?
Well, ours comes with a hell of a lot of engagement, this new product, but and also Colin just said to me, make sure you let people know it's not ready right now. You won't get it right now because it's not ready to release right now. It's in the state that I can use it, and it's awesome, but we'll get it. But once it's available to be given to the market, we will give it to you guys as a lifetime license. So that's extremely cool.
And by the way, Roger, yes, I am drinking Modelo. It's late for me, man. I start my day at 4 a.m. and I'm in Virginia, and United States, it's 9:30. So I'm going on like a 16, 17-hour day right now. I needed a beer.
Okay, last question for the webinar.
Okay.
From McDonald, I run a web development business in Nigeria. Can I use this? How can I have address or map locations in other cities without being there?
Okay, well, that's a really good question. As far as the getting now, see, I don't work anywhere outside of the U.S., guys, so I don't know how it works in Nigeria. I honestly don't know, but if it's anything like it is here, you can still register addresses. You just need to be able to verify them. And so the way to verify them typically is with, a postcard that comes in the mail or a little card with a pin. So as long as you can get addresses in other locations, I'll be honest, I got lead gen properties all over the place, and I use post office boxes, United States Postal Service, post office boxes. There's something that you can use. I know this doesn't apply to you in Nigeria, but I just want everybody else to understand that you can use what's called the street address option for post offices, where it's an additional form you fill out when you rent the PO box. Doesn't cost anything else, but it allows you to use the street address of the post office itself, and then you get a box number. So you use the street address plus the number sign or the hashtag sign, and then the number of your box. And that allows you to register a GMB with a street address. And I've got them all over the place. People say, well, that shit doesn't work. No, it works because I've got them all over the place. And so that's how I typically do them. However, like I said, we do have a GMB verified service to where you can buy verified service listings. I don't know if it's going to be available outside of the U.S. You can contact us at support@semanticmastery.com to inquire about it. Somebody that knows more about that service than I do can tell you. But yeah, that's something that I would look into, is the done for you service for McDonald, excuse me. Also, one of the things that I've done in the past when I've wanted to register a PO box or a GMB profile in another city that I didn't want to drive to, is I've even gone on the Craigslist and posted, and we've got many of our members that have done this too, go on the Craigslist and post an ad in that city that I want a GMB listing for, and say, like, can I pay somebody $50 to receive a postcard at their home address? And what you'll typically get, and I'm sure that works in Nigeria, you've got to just find online classified sites in the cities that you want, and then post an ad and say that you'll pay somebody $50 to receive a postcard at their home address. Then what I found is that it's renters that will do that, not a homeowner, but somebody that's renting like an apartment, because it's not their property. What do they care?
Yeah. Perfect.
Okay.
Cool.
All right, guys. Well, listen, if you guys have any questions, you can reach out to us at support@semanticmastery.com. We'll be happy to answer them. Just please, if you're inquiring about anything that we talked about on this webinar today, make sure that you mention Peter's name so that we can make sure that you get all of the access to the bonuses and all that, and so that Peter gets credit for it as well. And guys, don't forget the bonuses that we included in Peter's awesome bonus that I'm anxious to see now too. So
thanks, Bradley, mate. I really appreciate you taking the time out of your night to be here with us today. Thank you.
Awesome. Well, thank you for the opportunity, Peter, and we'll see you on the next one, buddy.
Thanks, mate.
Guys,
okay.
See you.
Bye.